Hey, what's up? My name is Lisa. Welcome to For the Love of Creating. Today we are going to be painting this ski lift. I'm so excited to get started. Let's jump right in. Okay, to get started, let's go ahead and look at the colors we're going to be using. And as you can see, I've already sketched out part of what we are painting, but I will walk you through how to find the right placement as we're going along. So no worries if you're a little stressed out about this, trust me, you can do this painting. Okay, so for our colors, we have Cadimum Yellow, Sap Green, Cerulean Blue, Raw Umber, Ivory Black, and Titanium White. And so we're gonna be using these. I don't think we're gonna throw in any more, but we will see as we're going. So we're gonna start off by blocking in basically where everything is gonna be. So we wanna get like this, the first layer of snow down on the ground. We wanna get the sky, we wanna block in the trees and get kind of the first layer for the actual ski lift. So the first thing we're gonna do is go ahead and get a nice blue for the sky. So I'm gonna take some of that blue, and we want it to be like a bright, like, you know, when it's just one of those beautiful snow, like the snow has already fallen, it's on the ground, and it's just a clear day. That's what we're looking for. So probably a lot more white than blue, but just that really, really pretty one. And feel free to improvise with colors. I think colors are one of the best parts about painting. So I always want to encourage you to like find the blue that like resonates with you. Okay, so I'm liking that color. I'm thinking, yeah, that looks pretty good to me. So the next step is you can use any kind of bigger brush to put it on. I'm gonna go ahead and use this 3/4 inch wash brush. I just really like this. I think it goes on really nicely. And then we're also just gonna do a little bit of shading with it. So here's our first coat, here's our pretty sky. So if you're looking at your canvas, you wanna do like a triangle at the top of your canvas, and you just wanna get about the middle third of your painting as the top, and then just draw it down into the middle. And there is our first layer of sky, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So just super nice, bright blue winter sky. Okay, next step, we want to go ahead and block in some of the snow. And the snow, we want it to be still blue, but like very slightly tinted blue. So we're going to take that same color, and don't worry about your brush, you're going to use it here in a moment again, that same blue, and we're going to pull it over here, and we're just going to get a whole bunch more of this white. A whole bunch more, and just make it even whiter. And this is going to be the shadows from the trees in the snow. And then you can see there's blue in this white, so we're just going to mix that in, and it should be a very slightly tinted white. And that will be our main coat going down the whole strip. So now we've got a few variations of that blue to use to our liking. Okay, and I'm just going to use this same brush. It still has a little bit of blue on it, which is no problem because we're working in that same color range. So we'll take that white, and we just want this whole thing to get that color. So what you're going to do now is from the top of your triangle, you're going to go and pull it down and make a bigger triangle that's just a little bit wider. And you're going to fill that in with your snow. And it's okay if you have a little bit too much blue to start out, because we're going to go over with a few extra layers of the white. This is like all of our shadow work. again, you just want to follow the path and you're automatically going to get those variations that kind of give us some texture of what's going on. And remember, we're just blocking in right now. We're gonna come back through and put in texture and detail and all of that. But once we have kind of the general gist, we wanna come in and just kind of move it around just a little bit, going in a back and forth motion so that we kind of get the the lumps and the bumps of the snow that's pretty normal in a setting like this. Okay. And then I'm also gonna come in with just a little bit more of that darker blue on the side here. And this is just giving us kind of a base coat of like the shadows that the trees are creating. Because we'd like that to be kind of nice and smooth gradient, but we don't want to forget about it. So you're going to take that second layer that's a little darker, and you're just going to go along the edge and go back and forth, which is cutting out that line because we don't want a super harsh line. And then it's also starting those, again, those shadows that we want all the way back. And be free with it, like have some fun. Okay. All right. And then we want to come in one more time with the even darker, just kind of going up the side. And we're going to use this same color when we start to put in our shadows coming down from the actual lift as we're going. All right, cool. And we are gonna come in, just while we have this brush out, we'll kind of pull in some of these blues, just kind of gently, you know, give it a little bit of texture as we're going up. All right, you guys with me so far? Not too bad, right? You got this? All righty, let's see what's next. All right, so let's go ahead and wash out your brush. So just put it in some water and then I like to use old towels. I cut them up. That way I'm like saving the environment a little bit and, you know, reduce, reuse, recycle. Okay, so we got our first layer done there. The next thing we want to work on is adding in what our trees are going to look like. So again, we're going to start kind of on the darker end of things. We're working on like the shadows, and we're not doing every little tiny detail leaf, but we do want it to have some structure so that it's not just like nonsense up there. So we want to go ahead and we'll start with some green, and we want it to be, because it's further away, there's actually gonna be a little bit more blue in it because that's kind of what happens as you move further away. So I'm gonna take this same palette knife I used earlier because it has a little bit of blue and a little bit of white on it, and we can absolutely use that for this. So you're gonna take the green, get some of that green out here, just like a smidge of blue. And then we're gonna add in just a little bit of brown so that it's a little bit darker because we're working on our shadows. Let's see how that looks. Nice and foresty. Ooh, I'm liking it so far. It's a pretty color. All right, I think I want it to be a little bit darker though. Let's go ahead and add on a little more brown to that. We got a little more blue too, that's perfect. Let's get that in there. That might have been too much. But again, we're working on shadows first, so it's kind of okay if we get some darker colors. Oh yeah, that looks nice and rich and deep. Oh yes, okay, lovely, lovely, lovely. Ooh, I like it a lot. All right, so this, and then we're gonna build from there. So that's a good place to start. I'm gonna go back in with this same wash brush because I just think it's a really nice one when we're laying in lots of colors. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm gonna go for a different brush. We will do the filbert. I think that'll be good. We'll use our filbert, so it's this guy. Why does it not focus in the right spot? This brush. Okay. All right, so we're gonna take this. Oh, I love this color. Okay. And this is, again, just our first layer. So we're gonna start back here. And right now we're not doing too much shaping, but we don't wanna do no shaping. So we're gonna go ahead and just kind of lay it in. And remember, we're gonna be putting snow on top of this also, so it's not quite as much. So let's go ahead and just get that color down first. You're just gonna follow the triangle from earlier. Just kind of pull it down, giving us the illusion of some stuff. So this is great. This is a great brush for this because you're just kind of like showing that there is, it's not like a straight line back there. And your mind kind of like plugs in the details. So let's go. And remember, this is just one layer. We're gonna have so many more layers coming on. So you'll have to forgive me if I just stop talking for a while. Man, painting is the best. So the best thing about it is you can get kind of lost in it. So I guess that's where I was going, is I might just, you know, get lost in what I'm doing, but I'm gonna try my best to include you because this is the best and I want to share this with people. So it's kind of interesting to work with like new brushes because they do different things. And yeah, I'm just really liking this brush right now. Okay, lots of implications of a dense forest. Unfortunately, I don't want it to be that dense, but that's where the rest of our colors and things are going to come into play. So we're losing, if you did end up sketching this out first, we are losing some of our detail in like where everything is blocked out, but like not a problem at all. We're gonna go back in and add them later. And you can see, you get a little bit of it like where the white is, so we're not losing it completely. And so this is definitely like a very easy, beginner-friendly painting. If you're still pretty new to painting and you don't want something that's gonna overwhelm you, however you do this painting, it'll turn out cool. You know, even if it's like not even looking close to mine or it's better than mine, totally possible, you know, that's the great part about this. So, okay, I'm gonna start going in with this pure green now that we're like closer up to the front of the painting. So it's gonna give us, because we're closer, there's less blue. And again, this is kind of like our base coat, so it's okay that we're not doing it like as insanely as the other one. So it's also really nice if you are thinking about maybe hanging yours up, or you just really like it in general and you're like, yeah, this is cool. It's always nice to finish the edges of your painting too. So you'll notice I will come down and kind of work on this side edge here as I'm going also. But usually that's something I just kind of leave till later anyway. I'm so excited for the holidays though. It's just like the best time of year. I should have done this painting a few days ago and I didn't, because I was like, it's December 1st. I have to start putting up my decorations. So I did. I just took a day and I decorated and I drank hot chocolate and I got some eggnog and it was just fantastic. I had so much fun doing it. Okay, so now that we're getting a little bit closer, we also want to start thinking about some other details that we want to pull in. So, you know, our trees are coming down. And we are going to come in with more detail, but just to kind of like imply the shape of them. So we're thinking like Christmas trees, y'all. So we kind of want that like swoopy shape, swoopy coming down. And in my mind, I have a different kind of color that I'd like to bring forward with this, but we're just blocking it in. Okay, and I'm just kind of going back over where the greenish blue color is, because it's still wet and it's just blending it out as it goes further back, which is just giving us a better illusion of the depth and it's giving us better structure. Ooh, I'm loving it so far. I hope you guys are too. I hope yours looks so cool. Trust the process. If you think it looks crazy right now, it'll get better. And if it doesn't, tell me in the comments. Okie dokie. Lovely. Okay, let's just go ahead and clean up those little spots there. All right. It looks really good so far. We're gonna go ahead and block in some other colors. So the last thing that's like kind of our main focus of blocking in would be where the actual lifts are. And I don't want to focus on it too much yet because we, you know, we have a lot more to do behind them before we focus on them at all. But just to kind of get a general idea. So we're just going to go over them with like a brown color, and go ahead and you can clean up this brush. We won't use it for another minute or two. So we'll just go ahead and do that. Okie dokie. So for this part, I'm just going to take this round brush I have. It's nothing special, just a round brush. It's kind of older brush, but it'll be good for what we're doing. So we're going to take this. I'm just going to get my brush a little wet too, because it needs a little bit of shaping before I just go in with it. Okie dokie. And then I am going to use like a brown black color for this base part. So a little bit of black. It's a lot of black, that's okay. And a good amount of brown. That way we have this color. So this will be very dark brown. And this will be good for our shadows and our trees potentially. So, oh yes, gorgioso. Look how rich, that's like chocolate. Oh, I have chocolate on the brain again. It's the season, man, it's the season. Okie dokie, that looks good to me. I'm just gonna come in here and we're just filling this in. It doesn't have to be perfect. We just wanna know where everything is. And your green is probably still wet, and that's okay. This, again, we're locking in color here. We're not worried about anything other than that right now. And personally, I kind of like when there's like a fluidity to paintings like that. There's almost like just this connection to it. So it depends on your style. If you hate how that looks though, which I know is a thing, you can always just dry it with a hairdryer, which I will definitely be doing in other parts of this video, so okie dokie. So, people, painting people, what are you guys listening to at home? I like really wanted to put on my own music, but I'm like, people are gonna listen to their own music. They can do that. All right, so right down the middle, you're gonna make your T. And that is our main lift point. Okay, so good start so far. All right, so before we can go in and start doing more details, we need to let this dry. So you can either wait and pause the video, or what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna get a hair dryer and dry it out. So go ahead and do that, and we'll just keep going forward from there. Okay, now that we have the main pieces blocked out, we're ready to go in with a little bit more detail. And before we do anything else, I want to do a second layer on the sky just to get that blue kind of locked in. So, because once I dried it, there was just some pieces coming up. So we're just going to go in with that same blue we still have on our palette. And we're just going to kind of do one more layer. And if you haven't, but you're interested in doing the edges, this would be a really good time to take that same blue and just finish off the top of your canvas. Okay, very nice. Now I'm just gonna wipe off the excess blue. And the next thing we're gonna do is lock in what we want our snow to look like that's going down. So we've got a ton of white to work with here. We're just gonna go in with our bright white. And we're gonna start in the middle and kind of work outwards. And this is where you get to kind of have some fun with it. So I'm using that same filbert brush as before, because I like kind of how you can get these like streaky kind of lines. And I think it looks a lot like our snow. And so that's just kind of gonna give us some texture. And then to make this a little bit more fluid, you can start kind of mixing in some water with your white too. And that way it's just a little bit easier to work with. So I'm gonna pick up some water and mix that in as I'm going to give us kind of the mounds of snow. It's almost like you're doing like an infinity sign as you're going. And this is just kind of going to get rid of any of those edges that you had that you might not want to continue having. And it's just going to give it a nice blended out, really pretty, soft, snowy look. And don't worry that it's getting on other parts of your painting, because those, remember, we just blocked it in. We're going to go in and do a lot of detail and stuff. So just make sure you keep adding a little bit more water to just make it nice and easy to work with. And you want to use clean water. And don't go in with your with your dirty water. You can also switch brushes as you get up into those deeper spots. I know I'm going back over it, so I don't mind dealing with that. And the great thing about white is it dries like a little see-through, especially when you're adding water. So it's gonna give us even more layers than what we're seeing. My goal right now is just to make this nice and smooth and even so that we have, you know, these blue kind of lumps going through, but it's not super noticeable. It's just kind of a nice, pretty gradient that goes between all of them. Oh no! A leaf decided to fall on us. That's okay. It's just reflecting some of the tree. Okay, I'm really liking how that's looking so far. I'm also kind of ready. Let me clean my brush now that it has green on it. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay. So we got our white. I'd like to make this over here look a little cleaner going. So pretty. Makes me want to go skiing. Okay, yes, this is really pretty. I like how this looks. So I do want to start adding in a little bit more of this dark blue again, just to the sides, so that we're getting that shadow from our trees. And for now, I want this to be blended with the white just a little bit. And then we're gonna go in with an even darker blue in a little to give it so you can kind of like see the branches. But we want that to be, yeah, that's looking good. Okay, here we go. Pretty. And again, we can always go back in the middle with the white and just kind of work out from there until you're happy with it. Get some more water in there. Okay. looks pretty good. Okay, so I think for this next part, I'm gonna go in with just a little bit more of a detail brush to get those sides kind of cleaned up. Okay, so let me go ahead and clean that brush really quick. Okay. So for this part, I have a round brush that I'm going to use, this one here. And we are going to use this to just give us a little bit more detail of the blue under the trees. So not a ton, just like kind of, yeah. So we can start to see the contrast of that. And this is that same color we're going to use for the shadows. So we want this to not blend, we want it to stand out. So you want that kind of crisp line here. And just follow whatever your forest is looking like now. Maybe you have some tree branches just jutting out. Use it. Use it. Okay, I'm liking this a lot. And we're just gonna follow this all the way up. And then if you're happy with your snow, so make sure you're happy with your snow before we get to this next step, which is gonna be putting in the shadows from everything up top. So let's go up here too. So you just want to do that whole line going down. And then the same thing on the other side. So this painting is actually inspired by a specific ski lift that you will find in upstate New York. It doesn't look exactly like this ski lift looks because it's like my memory of it, but when we were kids, we went to a place called Holiday Valley, and there was just nothing like this ski lift. You're like, it's so quiet because the snow is thick and you're just like in the woods, and it's very magical. So that is what this is an inspiration of. Yeah, you just want to take that blue all the way to the bottom, and there's our shadows for our forest. And we'll probably go back in and do a few more when we start adding the details, but you do want this front part, the shadow should be bigger because we're getting smaller going back. And you just want to make sure that that's a reflection of what we're actually seeing in all of the details. Okie dokie. So next, the time of day for this painting is like midday. And we want that sun coming down right on top. So when we do this, we want to have the shadow right here. coming down directly on top. Okay, how you guys doing? How you feeling about the whole painting? Are you overwhelmed? Are we feeling good? What's the deal? Okay, we've got our one of our guys right here. Okay, so now I'm just drawing in the lines, the cables that they're actually going in. So I'm just kind of doing a light general area, and I first drew the poles that go across horizontally. So that way you're really just connecting from one spot to the other. And it's like a pretty logical trajectory, right? So just follow that line. You just want to follow that line. So same here. So here's the pole, and then underneath is the shadow of that horizontal pole, right? And we know that about here is where this starts, and it's coming to this pole, which down here is about right here. So this is where we want it to show up. So you just kind of follow the natural look at where it would be with a little bit of a swoopy swoop. And we're just getting our shadows in. Should be more like here. That's good. Yep. And that just goes right down that way. And we've got our same guy here going this way, and then we want him to go just straight down. And then this big one that we had here for our lift, we are going to put his shadow about right here. Okay. And so now you're just going to make those lines look really clean. If you made a mistake here or there, you can always clean it back up by going over with some white and just kind of filling it in. So just take your time and enjoy the process. Yep. Okay, so once you've gone over all of the blue, the next thing you want to do is go ahead and get out your big wash brush again. And we are legitimately going to do like a whitewash over it just to blend it, make it look super pretty and soft. So you're going to get a lot of water and you're going to mix it with your white. And this is all a little wet still, and you're just going to kind of gently go over the top. And it's just gonna kind of blend it all together, but like only a little bit. So I'm like barely pressing this down. And it's just connecting all of it. So now it's like one snowy mess. And it's just gonna look so pretty, all put together. And it's giving you these just natural kind of shapes. And that softness. That fresh snow. So pretty, so pretty. And we are just about done with our snow part of this. And then if you're ready to add in maybe just a little bit more detail, you can add in some more blue just to kind of give it some mounds and such. So again, keep it like super loose though, because you don't want it to disrupt the other shadows that we've got going on. Now we just have this super soft, delicious snow. Okay, so go ahead and clean out that brush, and we are going to start on to the next part, which is going to be our trees. Okay, before we just jump right on over to the trees, I also just wanted to add a few more lumps of the white snow. So go ahead and dry what you have right now. And we might do a few more layers of the snow just to make sure we're getting that bright white snow. Right now it's super blue, so we're just gonna let that dry a little bit. Actually, we're gonna let that dry a little bit more. We're gonna work on the woods and then we'll come back. So the next step for the woods is right now we've just got like dense green, and we want a lot more going on in our woods than just green. And we're gonna get a lot of the detail and the structure from where we put the snow, but we also wanna have like more spaces where we can see other trees. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take brown, and we just wanna add in a little bit of yellow and just a smidge of white. Or that was more than a smidge, but we wanna add in some white. And so we're just trying to look for like a really nice yellowy brown kind of color. Just to kind of give it a little bit more interest. Pretty light brown is what we're looking for here, with just that tint of yellow. I think I want a little bit more brown for this. So let me just grab some more of the brown, guys. Okay. And it's kind of an experiment. You're just kind of finding colors you like and working with them. You could also use orange. Orange would be a good color instead of yellow for the tint. I'm liking the yellow because I think it's giving it just a brighter feel. So we're gonna use that. Okay. And I'm just gonna use that to block in where I would like some of these trees, and then we're gonna go back in with a darker brown just to kind of give it more depth and structure. So we're just starting here. And I wanna start in the back and then work to the front, although I do know that I'm gonna want like some big trees like here. So I'll just kind of generally place that guy there, and he's gonna be pretty thick. So we've just got all kinds of trees back up in this space. So that's there, but let's jump back here a little bit more. So we'll just put some in the background. And not only do we want to add in trees, we also want to start thinking about maybe some branches kind of sticking out here and there. 1 or 2 trees here. Some more on this side. I want some kind of in there too. Just maybe some of these coming out. Most of our branches are from Pineys though, so. And obviously, as we come closer in the painting, we want them to be bigger because of perspective. I know it might feel silly to looking at kind of the structure we already created with some of our branches, but it will make sense as we are going, I promise. Looks like that tree's tapping that one on the shoulder. Oh gosh, okay. It's a very friendly woods. All right. So now we just want to add in kind of the implication of branches. So we're going smaller now. I think we need a few more big guys back here though, hold on. I am painting with this laying down and I usually don't, and I'm finding it challenging in some ways. So we won't get a whole bunch of branches kind of popping out, or like the brown part of them, because the snow is just going to be all over the place up in this stuff. But I like having just kind of a few, and we can always come back in with more, but I like to start with some. So as you can tell, I'm also just like winging it. And that is how you should be approaching this also, because that's what painting is all about. Just get it down, see how it looks, move forward. It's so fun. Painting should be a liberating experience, not one where you're like confined and frustrated or anything like that. Okay, so that's a good start. I think we're gonna go in with some snow next. So before we jump to the trees, this looks just about dry enough. I might take it to the hairdryer just for a moment. We'll do this and then we'll start working on the snow. Okay, so I just dried that off a bit and now we're gonna go in with the snow. And I'm going to use this old brush. How about that? It's for watercolor, but it's pretty old and just busted, and I like to use it for my trees because it has this like texture. So it works well because it gives us like randomness. So I'm gonna use this and I'm gonna use it on the ground first. So we're gonna do just some more snow on the ground. I'm not mixing it with any water this time because I want it to be thicker. And we just want that to like feel much thicker than it has been. And again, we'll probably even go back again with more because we really want this to be a bright snow. And right now it's very blue, so we're just trying to find like a happy middle color. I like that. I think that looks good. Just remembering where the specific shadows are. Yep, that looks good. Getting our bright whites in there, get them. Bright whites, the bright whites. Okie dokie, that looks good, y'all. You're doing such a good job. I'm so proud of you. But I am, good for you. This is just, it should just be fun. It should be fun. Should be fun. Okay. That looks pretty good. And we can just keep layering that on too, because we want our snow to be white, white, white. Like it is freshly fallen and packed, and you could just walk on top of it. Okie dokie. And now the next super fun part with this snowy snow is taking it to the trees. Okay. So it's also given us a nice little border here. All right, cool. This is a cool brush. Okay, so for this, we again don't want to mix it with the water, and we're going to use this. It's just going to give us this like cool texture. So we're going to start in the back and work our way forward. And the coolest thing about this too is like it gives you different shapes based on the angle that you're using. So you just get like a ton of variability with like, you don't have to switch out your brushes, and lots of depth and texture. Oh my gosh, I love it already. So let's see what else we can come up with. Let's see kind of how it's hitting. Because right now it's like, oh yeah, okay. Because we want our snow to feel like heavy and thick, right? But we also want to get the texture of the trees at the same time. So the question is, are we accomplishing both? Let's see how it'll look up here on our closer trees. Okay. So we're going to keep working this back part. See how it's giving it so much shape back there? All right, so good so far. Okay, and now that we're getting a little bit closer, we're going to be more intentional. So because of how the snow falls, it's going to be like heavy on the branches, and so we want it to kind of come down, and we want to use the shape of the branch to our advantage. So we haven't really made any shapes yet. So this is the part where we really bring the forest to life. All right, so like we got a branch here, some big branchy guys here. Yeah, we got some big branches here coming down. We'll go fill in this back space too. Got some nice branches here and here. Kind of working on that forest floor part first. So kind of the same motion we were doing before for the bottom, right? We're just kind of getting those done first and we're layering on top of that. So, you know, they've got this same kind of shape. It's like the swooping out, right? Because we want to follow that pattern. But we also are getting like clumps of snow, not just the swoop from the branch. So you can see I'm kind of like pulling it up. And again, we're going to do like layers of this. And this is just straight white and like, who cares? But, cause some people will tell you not to do that, but it's kind of what we want to do here because it is a little see-through and we want that green to come through and we'll just layer it on, which is one of the best parts about working with white. I wish I could paint left-handed. Let me see if I can do it. I mean, I kind of can. All right. Okay, I have Baby It's Cold Outside stuck in my head. Anybody else? Okay, that's looking good. Sorry, I'm not a singer. Just stop now. All right. I also think I'm not allowed to have even like singing or humming. Isn't that nuts? You're not allowed to like sing or hum songs in your videos. What a world we live in. Okay. All right, so now we have our first layer done of the snow on the trees, and we are going to go in and add some more detail, but while that dries, the next thing I want to do is actually give a little bit more definition to the actual ski lift, and that's kind of where we're going to start. So what we really want to do is add some shadow and dimension, because right now it's just this like dark blob. So we're going to take the color we originally created for it, and we're going to add some of this parchment. So I also added some orange to our palette for the trees that we're going to work on here in a minute. But for now, we just want to take this dark color and add some parchment. So we're in that same color space. So I'm just going to put a little bit here, grab a little bit of this guy, and that will be kind of the base of our color. And so it's kind of like we've put in the shadow and now we're going in with the highlight. I'm thinking a lot more actually. Yeah, there we go. Okay. But yeah, then we're going to add in some snow to it because it is, you know, everything has snow in this. It's upstate New York, right? In the winter, there's snow everywhere. So let's go ahead and just get that taken care of. And voila. Okie dokie, artichoke. Sometimes I say things like that a lot. All right, that looks good. And the brush I was going to use, it's another round brush, just so we have a nice line. So we're gonna use this guy. Alrighty, we're gonna take this and come in and just get the edges, and we're just going to give it some shape again. So we're going to put, because the sun is right overhead, we don't really have like one side with shadow and one with darkness, but we're just going to designate anyway. So here's this. And then we're just going to come right in with the dark and blend that so we have the illusion of some roundness going on. Okay. So now we've got some structure going on there. We'll come over here one more time with this color. And just blend to the left. Blend to the left. Blend to the right. Blend back, y'all know. Okay. So I think we've been working on this painting for a little bit of time now, and where I am in my studio, it's like usually pretty cold, but right in this moment, I'm so hot, I'm taking this thing off. Ugh. It was comfortable before, but geez Louise, whew. Okay. All right, so I'm liking the colors here. I think they look really nice. And I think I'm gonna put the snow on the right side because the contrast is gonna look a lot better. So I'm just gonna finish this line here and just make sure it's nice and clean, since it's kind of like I'm not gonna go back over it with anything. So this is where we can start getting a little more intense about our detail. For some stuff. Some stuff is not so intense, but you know, a clean line is going to be important right here, just to make it look nice. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, cool beans. Tell me you're a millennial without telling me you're a millennial. I wonder if me and the internet will ever be friends again. Okay, here we go. So again, this is our shadow. So right now I'm just filling in the shadow at the bottom of our line, and then we're gonna go in with that pretty lighter color on top of it. And this is gonna give us a lot of depth. So let's go ahead and get that down. And then we're just gonna take this guy and go over top. And this will also have snow on top, so this doesn't have to be perfect. We're just trying to get it kind of blocked in so we can see where the shadow actually is and where the highlight is. And it just makes the cord have some shape to it. It's not just like a blob. Yep, that'll do. And so same thing. Because I'm right-handed, I'm kind of working left to right. Like I'll do this part last because it's dry and I'm using it. Okay, so again, we want to take this dark. Here's our shadow. And we're going to get a nice good line across it. And then we will go in with our highlight on top, and there will be snow on top of this guy too. Because snow is everywhere. And I'm just going in with a little bit more dark because it got a little too light on the side. And I just want to make sure that our highlight is looking good. And we've got some nice separation, but it's an even blend out. All right, and I'm going to go right back in because that line got messed up. So I'm going to fix it. And our pole just got a little thicker, which is a-okay. It probably should be a little thicker anyway. All right, very nice. Excellent, I am happy with that. Cool, okay. So we're just gonna keep working back. So we're doing this guy back here. And we're going across again. And since we have smaller lines, I'm not gonna be too intense about what we're looking at. And I'll probably go in with a small detail to get that last highlight for these guys. Going up, very nice. Coming back this way. Excellent. Okay, this guy looks like he needs a little more attention. And you want the cord to get smaller as you're going back, and you want them to be as even as possible on the two sides. And I feel like we need this guy to be just a little thicker too. So let's go ahead and clean that up first. And then this needs to just come a little bit thicker. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yep. Oh yes, that feels good, peoples. All right, we'll just go ahead now and do our highlights. So just a little bit of a highlight. I'm not even too concerned about it blending much. we just want where is the light hitting it to be apparent. And again, we are going in with snow, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but just to get some shape, we want, you know, a little bit of texture between it, even though, you know, we're losing a lot of detail since we're going back. That's okay though. Just it's an implied detail is important. All right. Cool, cool. Here we go. All right, now we just got this little guy here, and that main part will be done. It's looking really good so far. Oh, shoot. Oh no, my other camera died. Okay, so we're not gonna see my face for a bit, but that's okay. Hopefully you guys can still hear me okay. Because y'all, we are in this. We can't stop now. Got to keep going. All right, so let's just go ahead and finish this. When we were kids, we would make movies all the time. And the best part about it was that we didn't have we didn't have tools. So you had to be creative with like how you made stuff look real. So we like had a scene where, you know, like crazy stuff would happen, like people jumping off buildings and things, and you'd have to find a way to make it look realistic. And it was really fun because it stretched our imagination. And that's what just happened. We just saw a little bit of innovation. Okay, so let's get that blended out. That looks pretty good, pretty good. All right, lovely. So lovely. All right, now that needs to dry so we can get our snow on top. I think we're about ready to start putting in the actual lift part, like the things. So let me go ahead and clean off my brush. Ooh, I'm loving how this is going. Okay. So I think because I don't want to make a mistake, I might sketch it out first. I have somewhere a chalk pencil, I'm sure. The question is, where could it be? In all of my stuff. I thought for sure it would be in this. It is not. That's okay. I have a regular chalk. Maybe that will do for this, for the sake of this. Okay, we shall use pink. So, okay. We need it to be like under it. So I'm thinking about here. I don't really think we can see the lines anymore. This guy is like big and like, you know, up in our business. So he needs to be like here. Yeah, all right, like here. Okay. This guy is more up here. Okay. This guy's like halfway, so we'll get him like that. That looks about right. And there's another one up here. It's like going through already. Yep, cool. All right, so we got our 4. This guy, I'm not so sure that I want him to be so close to that pole, but I don't really know because of where the shadow is, if that's gonna work any other way. I really don't want him to cut off the pole though. Okay, maybe we will go in with this dark color again. And we want him like just on the other side of it. I don't think that's possible. I think he's gonna have to go a little deeper. Okay, Here we go, people. All right, so I'm using a round brush to sketch in where all of these are gonna be, just to kind of check to make sure we're heading in the right direction. It's feeling pretty good to me, but just to double check. So right there, we got this guy over here, and we've got this guy about right here. We just wanna make sure our shadows make sense too. So here we go. That's looking pretty good to me. All right, cool. And the nice thing about these is that they're kind of see-through, right? Because they're, you know, so we're not losing a ton of detail. It's just like a little bit here and there. So that feels pretty good to me. This guy's much closer than I originally anticipated, but I think it's perfect, right? Because you're getting more like the feel of being on it. So let's go ahead and put in some more detail with that. And I'm actually gonna get a smaller brush to do that. So now it's still a round brush, but it's just smaller. So this is a 2 round brush. And we're going to use the same colors we used for the actual structure. You know, maybe adding in a little bit of the, like a grayer kind of feel, but to get the main idea down, we're just going to use this brush and get that structure in. Doesn't that make you just want to go skiing? I want to go skiing. I have not been skiing in years. We used to go all the time when I was a kid. And when I started playing sports more competitively, we stopped because my season was in the winter and it was like you couldn't risk being injured and like, you know, not being there for your team. So I stopped skiing. And then I just we did it a little bit when I stopped competing at that level, but I haven't really been a whole lot there since. And I cannot wait. I'm gonna make such an effort to get there this year and go skiing again. So what we're doing right now is we're just blocking in the main outline, as you can see, just to kind of get an idea of where everything is gonna go. And then we're just gonna start adding in some details. And just like with everything we've done, we're blocking it in first, and then we're just gonna build. So this is like our shadow, and then we're gonna come in with the highlights and adding in the details to make it pop. So for this one too, even though we're starting kind of in more of the brown world, it's going to be silver, but like gray is a reflective color. So silver is reflective. So basically we're getting the browns that would be reflecting off of different places. Just a little bit. Maybe we'll throw in some green. Okay guys, we are back, and I had some technical difficulties and I made plans to go get a tree, so I went and bought a tree, and now we are back and the sun has set, so my lighting has changed a little bit, but we're just gonna keep rolling. So the next step is we are going to finish off the actual ski lift part, and we're just gonna add a little bit of silver or a little bit of gray just to give it a little bit of shine. We're gonna put the snow on top of it, and then all we have left to do is to add in a little bit more detailed for the leaves, and we're done. It looks so good so far, so let's just keep rolling. So the next step that we wanna do is go ahead and make some gray. So I'm gonna take white, we got here, and some black. And we want to start small with the black. That way we can build it if we need to. We just want to get a nice gray color. And again, this is just kind of like for the accents so that we can make it look like we're getting the reflection of the browns and we're just getting that gray going. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of water to this just to get it moving since it has been sitting for a bit, but I think we're going to be okay. Alrighty. Very nice. And I am going to use this round brush again. And we're just going to go in. Get some water on that guy too. And go in and do our details. So it's almost like we're going to highlight all of them starting in the back. So we're just going to come in here and just do that nice line. Okay, and we'll actually come up here. Ouch. And this is just kind of giving it some depth. And you can kind of pick and choose where you want these to be because it's just like a shiny piece of it. Okay, so you just kind of want to do it throughout, and it just gives it a little bit more texture. And then we're also going to do the same thing for all of the pieces here. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that we get it on the posts. And it's just a little bit, doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just remember, we are going to come in with some snow here in just a minute. So again, we just kind of want to give it a little bit of depth and texture here. This also separates out some of the pieces for us. Okay, just some highlights shining off the lift. You know, we can create some separation here. Get it going on this edge right there. Okay, I'm sure you guys see it's really just giving it a little bit of a pop. Again, nothing insane, nothing too wild. Okay, looking good, looking good. Okay, all right. So that's good. The next thing we want to do is go ahead and add our snow in, and I am going to use this same brush, this round brush, and we're just going to go in with the bright white again. And we do want to add some water to it. Okay, and then just a tiniest hint of blue, so that we can get that nice reflective snowy color. Okay, that's looking pretty good. We got a little bit of brown mixed in, which is actually going to help us with some of the dimension. And then again, you want to add in just a little more blue. And then we can go over it with our titanium white here in a moment. So that's looking pretty good. And we're literally going to put this on all pieces. So we're going to start in the back and work our way forward. And we just want to dot the top of this with our freshly fallen snow. Just dotting the top of it. So I'm just using like the tip of this and dotting that away. A dot, 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 dot. Okay, very nice. And that'll just give us a little bit more. Just right on top. And then we can get a little more intense now that we're up closer. We got some snow on top of that guy. Okay. Yes, very nice. And then we'll get this whole pole. Or I'm sorry, the rope. We just want the whole thing. We got snow on top of it. Okay. So this is giving a lot of depth and dimension again to what we're looking at, because it's just creating more of an illusion. Oh, I'm so ready for snow. It's the best. Okay. Alrighty, here we go. Now we're just gonna get some on top of our poles up here. So same thing, we're just using like a little tiny part of the brush. And anywhere the snow could be piled up on, we're gonna put the snow on it. If it can have snow, it shall have some snow. So the other thing that we're gonna do here in a minute, and you see I'm literally just like dabbing this on that little spot. So you just get a little bit, just a little dusting on all of the horizontal surfaces where snow could accumulate. And then we're also gonna do a little bit of snow on the side of some of these things too, because we absolutely would see that on the trees and on the actual poles. So we're gonna put some snow on there too. Is it snowy where you guys are? I only get a few snows a year in North Carolina, and I'm in the Piedmont area. but man, do I love it. I grew up in Pennsylvania, so we got a lot more snow than we do here, and I miss it, but I also never had to drive in it. So I think that there is something to be said about that. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm just loving how this is turning out though. So I hope you guys are liking how yours is turning out too. Such a good, like, cozy activity to do. Okay, so we got all our snow there, and now I'm just gonna go in and add some snow. We're gonna do it to the right side of these. So you sometimes see this. This guy is pretty covered, but we'll just give him like kind of some mounds of snow underneath. And then, yeah, we really can't see much of this pole, but we'll give him some snow kind of piled on the side here. Yeah, just a little bit. Kind of behind our guy. Right up to there. Okay. We'll put a little bit of snow on this back one too. Just a little bit on the side. Okay, cool. So now the next thing we want to do is I want to pull some of the trees forward a little bit. So we're going to give them a little bit more definition. And then we're going to add in some trees, and that will be it for the painting. Okay, so go ahead and wash off your brush. And I love this brush. I think we're rocking and rolling with it, so we're going to keep using it. And we're going to go ahead and make the brown that is going to be a little bit lighter than the one we have back here. So just to make it come out, we're going to use this, the dark brown, the raw umber that we were using earlier. And we're going to add just a touch of this parchment to make it lighter, and a little bit of orange to give it more of a rosy color. Ooh, that is a pretty color. I like it a lot. And then we're going to use that same brown without anything mixed in for our shadows. So this is like our middle color because we already have this color on it. That's where we started. This is going to be our middle color, and then we're going to use that for our shadow. Okay. And we don't want to bring all of them forward. We just want to bring a few forward so that we can see them a little bit better. So like this guy right here, we just want to bring some of him forward. So we'll just go ahead and bring just a little bit of him forward. Just a little. So we'll keep some of that snow that's kind of blocking him. We'll just keep that there. We'll bring some more. Maybe just a little bit more down here. So you can see how we're like shaping it without doing too much shaping. So we're going to do that for all of them, but that's kind of the main gist. Just make sure, I've had so many problems today with that one. Make sure it's still looking good. So really just kind of winging it as far as where you want these to be, what you want to bring forward. We're also going to add snow to the pieces that we're pulling forward. So we're going to do the same thing that we kind of did here, but it'll look a little more evident. So we definitely want to pull that forward. This color is working though. We like that a lot. Just kind of pull more of that forward. Some of this guy down here. That's a pretty tree. We want you coming out, buddy. Come on out. Okay. Okay, and it's good that we have that color kind of on hand. So get any excess paint off your brush. We're gonna go with our darker one. So this is also where we create more of the shadow. So we just kind of want to come underneath and kind of block it in. So again, this is like, you know, in the dark because it's covered by it. So anywhere that you can tell that the tree is like being covered, we want that dark to be in there too. So you're going to kind of follow the edge of the tree because around it is that snow, making it nice and toasty. Okay, and you're just kind of blending it out with the lighter color. Okay, and now we're going to go back over to the brush we were using earlier that has all of the kind of busted pieces on it. So go ahead and clean off that brush, and we're going to pull it up again, this one right here. And I'm just going to use it to add a little bit more brown to some of the spots where there might be branches and things. And it's dry, the brush is currently dry. I'm just adding a very little bit of paint to it, just to give it like a little bit of like the illusion of some branches kind of coming out. Just kind of where we can see some green, you know, just a couple branches poking out here and there. And you can see I'm like not even really pulling it. It's just kind of giving us that color, and your brain puts it together in the back. So like that's like almost enough. We're gonna do just a little bit more though. Just a little more. So again, we just want to like imply that there's stuff going on. We're not like painstakingly looking at every little tiny thing. That's not what we're doing here. Okay. And then we are going to use this guy again. So go ahead and just rinse off that brown. But before we jump to him, let's go ahead and get our flat brush. I'm gonna get this flat guy here, and we're just gonna add a little bit more depth to our green. So we want to go back to kind of a lighter green. So I think we're just gonna use this sap as is, and I wanna add a little bit of water to him. Let's get a little bit more water. Because this green we're gonna see, so we'd rather it be like kind of more vibrant And I actually might even add in just a smidge of blue, since that color is just kind of in everything. And I think it would look really nice. So you just want to add a little bit of blue to it, just to kind of give it a really pretty glow. All right, cool. So now we're just going to kind of come in, and we're looking at branches that might kind of be like poking out a bit, right? And you can see it's already giving us really pretty texture and depth. Okay, I just clean off my brush a bit because I used it to mix, which, you know, is fine. So yeah, we just want that to just kind of, it's just kind of cutting through some of the snow. We can see more of the branches themselves. And we're just getting more of that green. And just kind of where they might be organically anyway. Make some more dimension back here. And then we also are going to take this green color that's coming down, because these branches are really coming this direction here. We're also going to take this, just get a little bit, and we want it to go across, but we're using like the corner of the brush to kind of give us some more. Just a little bit. And not a whole lot. We're not going to do it across the whole piece, but just a little bit to give it some more dimension and texture. So just kind of sparingly, as you see, you just kind of add that in as you're going. And you can see it's contrasting really nicely with the white. So we're getting that nice snowy feel, but then we're also getting these branches coming down and through. And we're going to go back over it with a little bit of white here in a bit, just to kind of polish off the last pieces. And again, you're just using the side to make the angles of what they would look like. So you can see here, I'm just like finding the trees, and then approximately where you might find the branches coming off of them, you just kind of shape it to look like that. It's obviously not a perfect science, so it's kind of like you just play with it until it starts looking like what you're going for. And then if you like where some of the snow is sitting already, then you just want to add in to the green, and you can shape the snow by going kind of around it. So like I kind of like how some of this is doing things, so I'm just going like right around it, filling this in over here. And it's all about the layers. So we're just kind of going to let that sit in there. And you can see, like we were saying before, we're getting these nice, the leaves, some of them will like pop through. So it's not like just a perfect like mound of snow. I like on this side, we're getting more of like the branches coming out, where over here we've got bigger branches. So that's also something to think about. You know, how is it playing on either side. It might be looking a little different, like we've got some different kinds of trees. And you just kind of want to follow the pattern that you're creating. I'm really happy with how this is turning out. This looks so cool. So cool. You guys are doing great too, I'm sure. Remember, it's supposed to be fun, so no matter how it turns out, it's worth playing. Something good about playing with paint. You just want to take that green all the way through it. And you can really see how things are really starting to shape into different limbs of the trees. And, you know, we can take these across. And we're just getting a lot of depth and dimension here. Right. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, super happy with how this is coming together. And now, so we're just gonna let it dry, and I'm gonna run the hairdryer one last time, and then I'm just gonna go in and do the final touches with the snow, and that'll be it. Okay, here we go. Oops. Go ahead and dry off your brush, and then clean your brush, dry your painting, and then we will do the final coat of snow. Okay, so now that it's dry, the last thing we want to do is just go over one more time with some snow. And I really like what this flat brush was doing with the green, so we're gonna go over it again with the white, and this is just to kind of finish off those pieces of the snow. We probably don't need a whole lot, but just kind of where it looks like it needs some. So like over here, we just kind of want to dab in just a bit. And this is also giving us just a little bit more texture for our leaves and branches that are going in different ways, because it has such a crisp line that we're getting like more of, you know, some more detail in there. So we just want to add some more just right on top. It's going to make it look feathery and really nice. So we'll start down here, just like it's just sitting right on top of those pretty leaves. So we got different shapes and sizes of blobs, but I'm pretty much just using it and going what the shape of the actual branch would be. So it's giving us that look, and you can see it's got this nice feathered look now down here that implies like a lot of different stuff going on down there. So we want to do the same thing over here. I love the green in here though. I don't want to cover up too much of it because it's giving us some cool dimensions. So, and you know, this is where you can, like, if you don't love how some stuff came out, you can just go over it a little bit here and there. I won't tell if you don't tell. So anywhere that we got green, we got some snow coming through. Make sure you don't do the exact same motion or you're gonna end up with the exact same thing. It'll look fabricated. We don't want that. Oof, okay, this snow makes me want to go in the snow. So cool looking. Okay. Just coming in these last little bits. And this is really it, guys. We're in the home stretch. So pretty. Love it, love it, love it. And when we get to the end of this, if you know, we're using this straight titanium white. If it dries and you're like, that's still like a little too see-through for me, you can go back in and do another layer and it'll create even more dimension because you can do like less of it and, you know, you'll definitely get like more effect. So you can absolutely do that. There's so much cool stuff you can do as you work through it. So we're just trying to get that layered on top. Just kind of where the green is, where would the snow sit on those branches? That's what you're looking for here. Okay, almost there. So I hope you guys have been enjoying today's video. I know it's different from what I've been doing, but I think I kind of love these. So if you guys want to see videos like this, let me know. I think I'm going to do it. And, you know, I hope you guys are down to do some more painting. I'd love to walk you through some more of my ideas because they're just so fun and colorful and lighthearted, and painting should be all of those things, in my opinion, at least the way I like to paint. So if you like to paint that way too, or you just kind of want to explore it more, this is such a good place to start. And I'm so glad you guys have been here for this whole project. I love this. So I actually painted this same kind of painting, I mean, years ago now. And it was before I really thought about it. I just kind of was like, oh, you know, I've done one of those paint and sip classes before. It would be so fun just to like get a canvas and do some painting. So my roommate at the time had had both of the things. She's like, yeah, girl, like use my stuff. And I was like, cool. So I actually did a painting, and it was this painting, just like a lot more simple. So maybe I just do this every couple of years to see how it is, how I'm improved. So, but yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and we are just about done. Just putting on some final touches here. Little snow pieces here and there that just need it. I might go back over one more time. Let's just get that snow nice and crisp. Give it a little bit more depth. All right, guys. I think that's just about it. I could probably fuss in these trees all day, so I need to call it at some point. And at some point, it's very soon. I can feel it. So maybe this over here, I'd like to kind of clean that up a little bit. Okay, that's it. We are all done. I hope you guys have loved this process. I know that I have. And I hope you guys stick around next time. So here is the final product. Okay guys, that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can be up to date on all of the video tutorials I do on how to paint step by step. And for those of you who are still here, the real ones, as they say, I just wanted to share that the image I was talking about before, this is the original. So I've come quite a long way. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'll see you guys on the next one.